Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Fundamentalists podcast. My name is Elliott and I'm here with Peter Rollins. Pete, how are you?
I'm doing good, sir. It's good to see you. It's been a few weeks. You've been traveling.
So much travel, Pete. You wouldn't believe it. I've lived 30 lives in the past couple weeks.
You were doing some gigs?
I'm talking Tampa gig, Orlando gig, got the Ohio gigs coming up in Columbus, as well as Liberty Township. Little plug there, elliottmorgan.com/tour. Then I went from Tampa to Orlando to Nashville. Had a great time with my father and my brother.
Going to the Smashy?
We went to the Smashy. We did Monster Jam. We saw a big truck smash into one another. Bought earplugs, because you have to do that. That's how loud they are. Yeah, and I didn't believe them. And I was like, that's kind of like I'm a tough guy. I'm not gonna. Everyone know, like, when you think about me, you think like that's a tough guy. And so I was like, I'm not gonna ruin my image. But they get loud, those trucks.
I'm sure. I was thinking like that. It's like Hollywood movies and wrestling. That wrestling thing.
Yeah, WrestleMania.
And smashy trucks.
Yeah.
Are all kind of like, I think they're this primal childlike way of going, this is the way to make things better.
Yeah.
Like when you see kind of like just things smash and like things win over other things, it makes you feel good.
Yeah, American football.
American football. It kind of just simplifies life into, like I got a big truck, and my big truck is going to smash your truck.
Oh, it takes
my daddy's bigger than your daddy.
Your brain just goes, just do it. Just smash it.
Yeah, I have to go to one of those.
Dude, it is super fun. They're coming to LA soon.
Is that right?
So if you get crazy, let me know. I know some people that are going already, but Monster Jam is a great time. It's also like a lot of kids. Like, it's for kids.
Yeah, it's for kids.
And it's kind of cute to see like all these little like 5-year-old boys and girls.
I think wrestling's for kids as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, I guess. But I feel like that's got more older fans too, because they've grown up.
For nostalgia, a lot of nostalgia. Yeah.
But anyway, had a great time. Came back. I'm on my third of 4 days in school right now, but it's not going to stop us from doing an incredibly riveting episode of The Fundamentalists. So thank you guys for listening and enjoying it. And then also, I'm doing wedding planning stuff and Valley Folk stuff. And so everything, it seems, timing-wise, has all converged in this spot in my ocean of life. And it's pretty wild and fun and tiring, but I'm doing pretty well, all things considered. I apologize if I come off compensatorily energetic.
Oh, nice.
It is a facade. It is a part of my persona that I've plastered onto my face that actually beneath this is a true level of fatigue and internal disruption that I will manage and am managing, but I do not want to sacrifice the quality of this podcast by being a downer.
I don't think we can go any lower in our quality, so we're good.
Well, I know. Tell me about it, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I've in contrast to you, I've been, as usual, doing not very much. I've been working with your editor, Kevin.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's great. I knew he's great. He's editing some stuff for me.
Can we talk about Kevin for a second?
Yeah.
We did a podcast, a Valleycast, that comes out on Monday, which this will probably come out Monday or Tuesday. But for patrons, patreon.com/valleyfolk, as opposed to patreon.com/thefundamentalists, which you can go visit if you like sports podcasts. There's a bunch of cool things up there already, but we're going to do more very soon. Don't worry about it.
I love the way we keep promising that we're going to do more.
Oh, we
will.
The
eternal promise.
It's where I'd want it, because it's a safe haven.
Yeah.
Can you imagine anywhere else? I would post a school paper.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know legally if I can, technically. But anyway, Kevin was on this episode of the Valleycast, and he was like carrying it. Like, I was like, what? I was like, you've become like a real
person.
Real person.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I've seen you like grow up, and it's like, I like this guy. Like, I like him, and he's funny and wonderful and a genius.
Yeah, no, he's very good. Great editor, and he's editing my festival, my online festival that I did. He's making it, taking it all, and kind of getting the best bits.
Yeah, because I've seen what you've posted before.
Yeah.
He's going to bring you to another level.
I know, it's very good.
Have you seen some of it so far?
I have. He's done the first day already. Brilliant job. Really brilliant job.
Really?
So there's 3 days, and he's done the first day. Second day, he's going to be done in a couple of days. He's very fast as well.
He's so fast, yeah.
So
what are you going to do with that?
So I'm going to give it to my patrons first, and then probably 6 months down the line, I'll just put it for free on YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and it's comedy, music, and talks, and all of that. So
very cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
that's it. That's what I've been
talking to Kevin.
Just talking to Kevin.
We've both just been talking to Kevin in different text threads.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Very exciting. All right, so let's dive into the topic.
Let's dive into the topic.
Folks, we have a very exciting topic for you. And it's not that I forgot it, but I'm going to let Pete introduce it.
Okay. Well, we didn't have too much planned. You just came around, we're having a drink. But I did think about kind of jumping off some of the stuff we talked about in the last episode, which was actually a jumping off from the previous episode. This is kind of like a part 3. It's good. Yeah. And because last week we were talking about how we can't handle our truth, and so it comes out in different ways. We talk about tarot cards and how you can, kind of listen to yourself through the cards, or I think what was the other I talked about how we can find
Twin Towers,
some other thing, and
it's metaphorical.
The metaphor to kind of talk about parts of ourselves, and it just so happened that I've had lots of good examples happening this week from people I know who have expressed great versions of this. So I thought I would kind of open up by talking a little bit about Freudian slips.
There it is.
Freudian slips.
All right.
The parapraxis.
Yes.
Have we talked about this before? So parapraxis is, so some people say, right, the truth is what you say. And then other people say the truth is what you do. And in psychoanalysis, the truth is your symptom. Because your actions can lie, your words can lie. Obviously, you can lie by speaking. Say you're happy when you're sad. Your actions can lie. You can be super nice when
pretend
you
you're energetic when you're fatigued.
Exactly. There you go. So it's a fake action. Yeah. But the thing that you can't lie about is parapraxis, like a paramilitary, a practice that is outside the authority of your consciousness.
Yeah.
So, which is the symptom.
When you say one thing but mean your mother.
Exactly. So that was the first example I wanted to do. Actually, was exactly this. It was somebody who said to me this brilliant thing, talking about a member of their family, and said, "This person is unplayable." They were talking, it did very fast. They were talking, they were going, "Oh, it's absolutely terrible. It's arguments, absolutely unplayable."
What?
Playable.
Playable.
Yeah. So in the second syllable of this, you hear a condensation between unbearable and what I was hearing was unpleasable.
Or unpleasant.
Unpleasant. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Well, unpleasable was what I heard, because I think it was unplayable or it was pleasurable.
Yeah, but you picked up on it.
Yeah. So all I was kind of saying was to the person was like, is this person unbearable because they're unpleasable? And
so you tried connecting the two.
You connect the two because in one sense, what you had in there was a parapraxis. You had a Freudian slip where Freud called it a condensation, where two things simultaneously being said, and unbearable and unpleasable come up. And as soon as we started talking about that, it was obvious that this person felt that they could never please this person. And that's what was unbearable. What was unbearable was the inability to ever live up to what this person would want.
I know. And I tell Kevin all the time that he's good enough.
Yeah, he's good enough.
He's the good enough editor.
Yeah.
As Winnicott would say, I believe.
Oh, yeah, the good enough parents, yes.
I was going to make a joke. It's too far gone now, but at the beginning when you started talking, because I knew you were going to mention the Freudian slip thing, and I thought it was funny that, like, I came in and you were like, I'm a little fatigued. I've been a little fatigued, which I have made this joke to you on the podcast before, but I always joke that, oh, you're fatigued? Okay. You're depressed? Is it you're a little depressed? And then you're like, maybe, who knows, But then it was funny because as you were saying
sometimes being tired is just being tired. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Yeah, except you worded it like, again, I'm fatigued. Can you believe it? But it's funny because when you were saying this, I'm looking at you and there's a skyline directly behind you to the point that if you were sitting like 6 feet further that way, you'd fall down unless you're the road runner. And I was like, as you were talking, you were like, All right, so I guess we're just going to jump off. I was going to jump off of something from this. I'm going to jump off this thing, and I don't believe that you're having suicidal ideation, but it was a fun joke to make about Freudian slips. Is all I'm saying.
That's very good.
I'm not trying to make some big, profound point,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's healthy either to read into everything that everybody says all the time.
That's true.
Just so fun.
But I like that because if someone's using the same phrase like jump off, you're like, oh,
I'm just going to jump off. I'm going to jump. We're going to jump off this, and we're jumping off a thing that we jumped off of the other week. I was like, this dude is wanting
to jump off something. Maybe it's just because you're here.
This is that could be it. Get me out of here.
Well, that brings me to another great one. You'll like this. This is another version of a Freudian slip. Is one of my friends was sexting this girl that he was in a relationship with.
Righteous.
Yeah, but he sent it to his ex-partner, his ex-wife instead. And when I talked to him about it, he was great because he immediately, as soon as I started talking to him about it, he says, yeah, I guess maybe I just wanted to know I'm having sex with somebody else. You know, and it's, in other words, you never send a wrong text. The text always gets to the person it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It's not the person you intend necessarily, but the message gets out. The message will get there in the end.
Yeah, I feel like Freudian texts are there's Freudian texts in sending a text to a wrong person.
Yeah, you can do that occasionally.
I can do that. I'll send texts to the wrong person if I'm on my computer. And if I have that iMessage app on my Mac, then I will forget to hit the right person, and I'll be like, oh, sorry, that was for somebody else. But you don't ever sext on a desktop.
Yeah.
Not that I'm speaking from experience, but I can't imagine anybody would ever do that. You'd usually it's a phone thing.
Okay.
Feels more intimate, feels more private. You can back me up here. You have never sexted on a computer?
I do. I wish I could. Just you.
You will.
You know, yeah.
They make pills for that, Pete. But anyway, listen. See, I'm just tired. But yeah, the Freudian texts, the Freudian typos that happen are just as good.
Oh, Freudian typos, they're really interesting. Yeah. I've had those.
You've had them before?
Yeah, I've had them and I've done them.
My problem is my phone's like broken in the middle, the little strip down the middle. So I have to reword things constantly that sound clunkier than they need to be. But these things can happen anyway. Point being, they can happen on text and phone.
And you know what? The funny thing is, you can, because there's an interesting critique we could talk about in a second. But like one of them is, okay, what's the empirical evidence for this, right? So in science, in the hard sciences, you have things that are verifiable. Well, how do you verify? So, for example, a friend of mine told me a dream, and in the dream, it was obvious that there was a lot of guilt, right? Some guilt from something in the past. And what was interesting to me is this guy works sometimes in an environment that is very prison-like, and when he's in that environment, he feels great. And so I was I was saying to him, it's interesting, there's this, primordial guilt that seems to be there in your life, and it's not there when you're in this prison-like environment, which, by the way, a lot of criminals who have a sense of guilt, then you do a crime so that you can connect the guilt with a concrete thing and then want to get caught so that they can feel the crime's being alleviated, right? Not all criminals, but there's a lot of criminals who actually have that. Yeah, so the criminal wants to get caught because they have basically it's like like anxiety. They have a guilt that has nothing they can connect it to. So if you do a crime, then it connects to that, and then you get punished. But anyway, the interesting thing is like, so how do you prove that? But
you can't.
Yeah, well, although in psychoanalysis, because I think all sciences have their different criteria of proof, and I think the proof is in psychoanalysis is you're not talking about any objective truth. You're talking about subjective truth. So the proof is in whether when you work it through, the person just transforms. They're different. They're changed as a result. But why was I saying that about? What was the example I used about sexting? No, I don't know.
There was a dream that somebody had a lot of guilt. They were in a prison, though, and they realized that they're alleviating their guilt through working in a prison-like environment.
Prison-like environment. So it was connected. So these two things,
punishing themselves.
They're punishing themselves, and they feel happier when they're being punished for this kind of sense of guilt from the past.
Yeah.
But yes, because I was going to say this. Sometimes the proof is in, does it transform the person? Yeah. And sometimes you may be wrong about the Freudian slip, but it can still lead to the truth. it can still be useful. So you do literally just do a mistake in text, but the mistake is enough to kind of like shake you into thinking something that you hadn't thought before.
Oh, yeah, totally. I think the same works with dream analysis.
Yeah.
If you decide to, if you're interested in this stuff, if someone's not interested in dream and doesn't believe dreams matter or anything, then you're not probably going to get anything out of it. But like, if the person is curious about it and you ask what like color the wallpaper was, or like was there like ask really detailed questions, even if it wasn't actually in the dream, or even if it was, but it somehow was different than the real life bedroom they were grew up in, that they had a dream of, it can decenter them enough to unlock what's really going on with them in their brain.
Yeah, that because that was a really insightful thing Freud said about a dream, is that sometimes when people can't remember something, like what was the color in the dream or what was this, and they think, oh, I can't quite remember. Freud said that's important. So he analyzed a dream where a woman couldn't remember what man she was meeting, and she was like, I can't remember exactly who it was. And through the analysis, I think it was Freud, I have to look this up, but basically it comes out that she was uncertain about who the father of her child was. So the uncertainty of the dream was not like an impediment to understanding the dream. The uncertainty of the dream itself was something true. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. But the sex thing was interesting because he was like, someone else is giving me jouissance, somebody else. Because without mentioning Peep Show again, but there was a scene in Peep Show where Mark is about to sleep with a girl and he phones Sophie to let her know.
Yeah.
Because it's not about having sex with the person that's important. It's letting your ex know that you're having sex with the person. That's where the jouissance is. That's where the pleasure is.
Half of what Instagram is for.
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful.
It's because at its core, what we want is recognition. Even if someone wants to be wealthy, it's like, who do you want to be wealthy for? If you want to be famous, there's always that question of who do you want to. It's not that you want to be wealthy just for the sake of it. You're generally trying to either piss somebody off or prove yourself to somebody, or all of that kind of stuff. There's always somebody watching your fantasy in your,
I know, and then there's the reverse of it too, where I think we all sometimes will be like, I got to get this, and that'll show them. If I get a hot new boo, then that's gonna show my ex whatever, and if I make enough money, that's gonna captivate and enchant the person that I'm with so much they'll never leave me, and then I'll be safe, and then I'll be happy. But then there's a flip side of it too, where I think you also don't recognize sometimes that people can be angry at what you already just are and have and do. And that's a fun thing too.
Yeah.
Because we're all targets of other people's projections very frequently.
Oh, absolutely. That's why,
That's why we need to go to Monster Jam.
Yes.
There's no projection.
Yeah.
There's one called The Zombie.
Oh, I saw that. I saw a picture of that on your
big
Instagram.
Zombie on. Yeah. Goes after Gravedigger. Wild stuff. Dangerous.
So are the people, are the names for the trucks or the names for the people in the trucks?
No, it's the names of the drivers are their own names, but the trucks are like brands almost.
Okay.
For like football teams. Like Gravedigger's been around for so long. It's a classic.
Yeah.
Zombie was pretty cool though. I like Zombie is my favorite.
I did a Freudian email. I did a Freudian check as well, and I don't do many.
You wrote a Freudian check?
Yeah, I wrote a Freudian check. So this is a weird one because I don't do many Freudian slips or whatever. So these were two interesting. So the Freudian email was, I was analyzed for a year by a guy called Bruce Fink. You should read his stuff. He's phenomenal. He's like a world-class
I think I took one of his books from you.
Oh yeah, you've got his introduction to Freud. I think
clinical
introduction to Freud. Yeah, Bruce Fink is incredible. But it was a weird analysis. About it, like. I can talk about it. It says like he short sessioned me all the time. So in Lacanians do a thing where they you don't get 45 minutes. Technically, a lot of Lacanians go where they stop the session at a certain point. It's called scansion, and it's very controversial technique. And Bruce Fink used it on me all the time. Like my sessions would sometimes be like 2 minutes, 5 minutes.
No way. 2 minutes, 5 minutes?
That's really short. I mean, he's scansioned me all the time.
Scansion.
Yeah, scansion is it's called scansion. But and I can understand why he did it, but it was because he wanted to make me annoyed, and it was kind of annoying. But I was at a point in my life when it was very hard for me to feel anything, so I think he was kind of pissed me off.
He was poking you, yeah.
Yeah, poking me. But I've got some good
You
stories.
sound a little still pissed off about it.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It's funny. It's very funny. I remember because I was also analysed by a woman called Patricia Garavici, who's also very cool, and done some great work, amazing work. And I was telling Garavici about this scansion. I was like, it's very annoying. Like, I feel like I'm always being short-sessioned, and it's almost like every time I raise my voice as if I've got an insight, it stops. And she said, does that make you frustrated? And then I raised my voice, said, yes, it makes me frustrated. And she said, we'll just cut the session there. And so she short-sessioned me right when I was talking about how frustrated I was about being short-sessioned. But I had a graphic designer.
That's crazy. That's some nuts stuff, dude.
Oh, yeah. There's some crazy.
Wild.
I wrote her the Freudian check. So I was writing her a check, and for some reason, I wrote the check for $1,690.
I was so hoping that's what it was going to be. My God, that was, you did not short session me there. I'll tell you that. That was gold.
Was it, yeah, what did I say? $1,690?
Yeah.
But do you know that? You don't know that date, but that's 1690.
Oh, I don't know about 1690. I just heard 69.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Oh, there you go. Very good. Maybe there's
that's
something
way
in that.
funnier. Don't take that from me. That's exactly. I'm going to change the amount in my head to make it back to. I was like, is it ending 69 cents? And you're like 1,690. I was like, close enough.
Close enough. Okay. Well, that's pretty
nice.
There might be something in that, but 1690 is also this significant date in Northern Ireland that's connected to loyalism process, and it was just
nope. It's definitely 69.
I think that's more your perverse nature than your depth psychology nature. Yeah.
That's just maybe like say something with 69 in it. That's so funny. But
that's
yeah.
Right. But yes, but that's interesting. But she never picked up on it because that date was not significant to her. But anyway, but Bruce Fink, I'd written a book at the time called Insurrection, and
great book.
Oh, thank you. And the book designer was called Bruce Gore, and I wrote an email to Bruce Gore. So the subtitle of the book is "To Believe is Human, to Doubt Divine."
Great subtitle.
Thank you. And I said to Bruce Gore, I said, could you make the lie in believe red? I would like the lie in believe to kind of just very subtly, stand out to the reader, which I don't think they ever did. I don't think so. I'll have to look. But anyway, I wrote it to Bruce Fink. What's that?
Might have been a good call.
Yeah, no, it was very Bono did it. You two did it, and their best tour ever.
But there's already so much wordplay there going. It's already.
I know it's a lot of wordplay. But I sent it to Bruce Fink, and I didn't know. So my next session with Fink, where I never really said anything, and he never said anything, but he did say one thing. He said, "You sent me an email this week," and I was like, "I didn't send you an email." He says, "You sent me an email. What do you think it was about?" I said, "I didn't send you an email. You're going mad." But he was like, "No, you sent me an email about the lie in belief." I never got anywhere with it, but I was like, "That's fascinating that I sent you an email."
You should, well, maybe you should think about that.
Yeah, you should think. That's what I'm paying you for. You give me the answer.
That's great. Yeah, my therapist just very frequently forgets what time we're supposed to meet, but and then he goes, "You're too kind. You're too kind," and I know that that's truly what his actual critique is. In therapy, he's always going, "You don't have to be nice to everybody all the time. You can get angry. Getting angry doesn't mean you're being mean." I'm like, I don't know. I've seen it. It's pretty mean. Yeah, it gets pretty dark. But last time I was just like, "Yeah, I don't care." And he was like, "Can we do this over the phone?" I was like, "Yeah, it's fine." He was like, "Okay." I was like, "You're so kind." I was like, "What you want?" I was like, "Write me a letter." I was like, "I'll just write you a letter back." Like, I don't care. Send me smoke signals. I got a lot going on. This is stressful. You know what I mean?
It is funny because a lot of people like analysis in Lacanian terms. With the first time you meet your analyst, you think they're a human being, just like you. But analysis doesn't start until the second stage, which is when you start treating them as a symbolic figure. And so a lot of analysts have to really poke to get their analysans to get annoyed with them, because you don't want to get annoyed with your analyst if you see them as a person. Like, why would I get annoyed with you? But they're kind of wanting you to project all that shit onto them.
They're coaxing that.
Coaxing that out.
Fishing for that transference.
Fishing for the transference, absolutely.
He goes, "What?" He goes, "You can get mad at me." I'm like, all right. Like, this is kind of frustrating. But my problem is I actually don't. Well, and we can talk about this in therapy. It's like I'm truly not angry, and then I'll lash out in some other area.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, and then I'll go, maybe if you got angry, he's like, you need to be more angry. You need to be more of an asshole in little things.
No, you're an asshole.
Thank you very much. I've been working so hard.
You've been working on it, yeah, and you know what? It's showing. It is showing.
It takes time.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, what's the Freudian slip that you have done recently? Anything besides jumping off the building?
Well, I've got another one. Well, I've got another one of, and I've asked permission for these. So another friend who, his ex, their kid came back with a book about this bear, the daddy bear that was always watching too much TV, and all the kitty bears were watching too much TV, and this was obviously a message that this ex didn't even know she was sending, but where she thought that he was getting the kids watching too much TV. And it was really funny that the message was and she had no idea, but the message was in the children's book. Again, the truth finds a way of speaking.
It's Jurassic Park, yeah.
Yeah, and it was so on the nose, because it was so obvious that she thought the kids were watching too much television, and then the kids come in with this book that's all about.
This book is my goodness. Tell you what's it about?
He's like looking at it going,
"Were they
okay?
Were they watching too much TV?"
I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah. And who cares?
Yeah.
Also, who cares?
Yeah.
It's a dangerous game, I think, to play, because I do think a lot of it is intuition. A lot of it is active listening to people, which is most people aren't doing that. It's one of the things I like about learning psychology and learning these psychoanalysis is there's an art to listening to people and picking up on things where you just go, okay, yeah, I heard that. Because in my experience, especially in the South, I feel like very rarely people are actually listening to one another. It's mostly talking and waiting to say your thing and thinking about what you need to say that's going to keep the conversation going, keep it light, keep it good, make sure everything's fun. And so a lot of this stuff, I think, can get too much where you can be wrong.
You can be wrong.
And you can get a little inflated, and you can be like, I know more. I mean,
you disagreed with my analysis of aliens that we did off camera.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Come on. They're here. And they're definitely aliens, and they're definitely from other planets. No, that's a different story I'll tell you about after this, because I have more critiques on.
Okay.
I have reinforcements now.
Yeah.
I met this guy on Reddit.
Oh, yes, right. But I do have, I was sharing with you about this, you said this, which was interesting to me, but UFOlogy and UFO stuff is men are more into it than women.
Yeah.
And then my thing is that it was a lot of alien forms are very feminine looking. And so my thing was, this was the obsessive kind of question of what does the other want? What does the other want into the end? So it's interesting that anyway. Yeah. I quite like that.
We specifically said we weren't going to get into this.
Oh yeah,
to UFOs until they knocked on your door.
Yeah, that's right.
So I will say though, I mean that's a very Freudian interpretation of the phenomenon. Sexuality, and we can also see it as transcendence, and also there's just the fact that people are talking about it, and there's a lot going on. So
is there still a lot going on?
Yeah, there's a fair amount.
It died off a bit.
Japan has just put together some sort of task force. It's just weird. It's a weird thing that not every, but government, actual governments are putting serious time into this, and there's people who've been saying this for years and years and years. So your theory of there being a big conspiracy, I don't understand that.
Well, no,
Because people are talking. Everyone's going.
My theory is that it's the question, the Freudian question: what do women want? That's
Of course That's exactly.
That's what it is. That's
I
the question.
can understand why you would think that.
From the masculine position, from the feminine position, tarot cards is what does women want, and
I can solve this real quick for sure. We will, in our lifetime, learn way more about what is going on with UFOs than we ever will about what's going on with these women. Am I right? That question is definitely impossible to answer.
I did see on Instagram today, it was one of these joke memes, but this woman said, what do men want? And then this other woman said, to see their team win in the championship. And I thought, yeah, men are a lot more simple.
That's the meme?
Or it was to Twitter. It was just a Twitter kind of exchange, but it was like, what do men want? And then someone said, they just want their team to win in the championship.
Have a nice time.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. Very simple. Very simple.
Maybe there's more going on, but who knows? What do men want?
Well, I was watching the football. I watched the football whenever England. Were in the here's the funny thing. I'm so not into football. I don't even know what championship it was. So there you go. But I did watch it. I did I tried to get into it. I went to my local pub where I think we should do a live Fundamentalists.
Oh, great. Yeah,
and I talked to them and it was all going great, but now mask mandate means I don't think it would be that much fun if we're all wearing masks. We might have to wait for a few months. But we will do a live Fundamentalists when everything opens up.
That sounds great. That location sounds great. It was nice texting you, too, because I could tell you were at a pub having a few beers, and that's always fun.
That's all right. Oh, yeah.
You're like,
I was talking to the craziest guy.
Really?
Oh, it was great. I was talking...
Kevin.
Kevin, that's right. That's what you guys say. No, I was talking to this guy who was like hardcore, like I don't know what you call them here, but you call them like a hard lad or whatever, and somebody who's like definitely done bad things.
Yeah.
And he took a liking to me. I took a liking to him, but he was very high on crystal meth. So I didn't understand very much of what he was saying, and he didn't understand very much of what I was saying, but we got on very well, and it was very interesting. And he had horns tattooed on his head, so he'd shaved head tattoos all over, like devil's horns. And
that's hardcore.
He was really hardcore, like.
Yeah, that's tough.
Talking about the cartels.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was all pretty.
It's you can run into some crazy people in this town for sure, or some at least very interesting and colorful people.
Yeah,
very vibrant people.
Yeah.
Special people. I don't know. And of course, you have that personality that will attract people. You're there by yourself. You're having a drink. You have an Irish accent. People are gonna be like,
Oh yeah.
Are you guys going to hang out, or is he the new host of the Fundamentalists?
Yes, he is. So he's taken over,
Do you need to tell me something?
Glad you brought this up.
Yeah. All right. Well, what else? Any final thoughts on Freudian slips? Any other?
Yeah. Well, do you have any examples of Freudian slips?
God, I mean, now where do I begin?
Yeah.
The problem definitely would be choosing one. I do them all the time.
I know it's hard to throw that at you. Like I thought of a few. It was just weird that like I had like 3 happened in a week where I was like, oh, this is...
Yeah.
But they happen all the time. If you listen for them, they happen all the time. And it's hard to listen to your own, but you can really listen to other people's. So you can kind of...
Yeah, it's definitely easier to listen to other people's because when you yourself do it, you definitely don't notice it.
Yeah.
Unless someone is there to call you out on it.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is not a thing you want to do. Like all of this stuff that we talk about, like it's... You don't. The only time that you call out people's Freudian slips is if there's a relationship where that's already decided and basically a therapeutic relationship. And I'm not sitting around listening to my friends' Freudian slips too much. Every now and again, if something's said, I'll maybe mention it. But you try not to get too into that shit.
Yeah, I think
it gets a bit annoying after a while for people.
Oh, no one wants to be told what they think about something deep down. That's like not fun.
No one wants to know what they believe. I mean, it's funny. I love the way people think they know what they believe, like as if like, oh, what do you believe? Like we know what we believe. We don't know what we believe. We're actually our consciousness is a whole defense mechanism to protect us from our beliefs. Like it takes years to come to know what you believe.
You don't believe that. All right. Then. Yeah, 34. This is a little shorter, but I'm tired. I still have to work on a project. And then, man, I didn't have to go today for my project. I'm so glad because everybody else, I did my project 40 minutes before class started, just in case I got called on.
What were you working on? What was the theme?
I mean, it was image. You had to find an image from a pop culture thing, and you have to present it, and then you have to dive into the significance on a mythological level, as well as significance on a personal level, significance on a psychological level. What about it resonates? What you find in history with it, and I've just tried for this particular thing to have more of a sense of humor about this thing. I think the professor has a very good sense of humor, and also there's a lot of very serious projects, and so but at the same time I'm glad that I didn't have to go, because I would have been like, some of these, I mean, incredible projects, like people are just like, it's PowerPoint. It's like, but I haven't made a PowerPoint in maybe 15 years, like 20 years.
Yes, that's old school.
Like, and I was like, I gotta, and then I share the screen. I was like, I have no idea how to do this. Okay. And so I threw something together just in case. And and then I saw everyone else's, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
They really put thought into this. So I'm excited to wake up in the morning and adjust it a little bit. But
here, and by the way, you were saying you met some fundamentalist listeners when you were on the road.
Absolutely.
That's great to hear.
Both
you
shows.
Still owe me. There's a note that someone wrote me of a book recommendation, and you haven't brought it, but I know you've got it. So you have to find it.
I think they wrote it on a napkin.
So that napkin may have gone by the wayside.
Maybe in the dryer.
But if you're listening, he did, when he got back, said, oh, I have a napkin with a book recommendation on it. I have to give you it. So he did keep it, but it might have gone into the washing machine. Is that what you're worried about? Yeah.
I'm pretty worried about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're listening, you can send me the book recommendation, because he hasn't given me
Please send it. Yeah. Because, I mean, whatever. I'm not going to feel too bad about it.
No.
You wrote it on a napkin. I don't know. I put it in.
And by the way, no, I'm saying it because you literally came to me and said, like, it wasn't that he didn't. He literally came in and said, I have a napkin with a book recommendation I have to give you. That's pretty impressive. The fact that you've never given me it is not, that's neither here nor there. The fact that you intended to.
It was a Freudian wash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're listening, that was maybe I don't know if that was Tampa. Maybe that was Tampa.
Yeah.
It might have been the Seattle or whatever. But anyway.
But there are fundamentalist listeners out there.
They are out there. There's actually a really good amount. So thank you guys for doing this. Thank you for listening. And
if you're up for an LA one, we'll be doing one soon. I think once we can do it in a very chilled out, nice way, and we want it to be
like
fun,
a nice way.
But this bar, I want to know what the name of it. What's it called? It's a brewery. I just want to. They're really cool. Really nice. I was going to give them. They're really. But we'll mention them soon.
Yeah.
Okay. When I remember their name.
Oh, man, that would have been so cool if you did Freudian slip just there at the end. All right, everybody, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Apologies for this being a shorter episode, but we'll get back to the normal length and the normal schedule. I know we say this, but
well, you know what we do have?
It really is a crazy...
We have... in our calendar, did you accept it every week at a certain time on a Tuesday?
Yeah.
But we have not done it since we put it in. But it is in the calendar, and it goes past every week. I see the time when we're supposed to do it.
Well, hey, I'm gonna have some free time in about 2 months, so don't worry.
Okay,
we'll be able to squeeze it in.
That's good.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.